He didn't say a word when he checked in. No hello, no room for one, just nothing. He walked in around 11:40 p.m., coat damp from the rain, and placed exact cash on the counter, already unfolded. No small talk, not even eye contact. That motel wasn't fancy. 8 rooms, 1 floor, half-lit sign with 2 missing letters. It sat off a quiet stretch of Highway 61, about 40 miles outside of Hannibal, Missouri. I'd been working there 3 years by then, night shift. Just me, some paper logbooks, and a microwave that never really worked. People came and went, mostly truckers, sometimes a runaway couple, sometimes loners like him. I remember the man took room 2B. That room was close to the office, near the vending machine with the buzzing hum that never stopped. He took the key, real key, not a card, on a scratched red plastic tag. Didn't ask where the room was, didn't ask for Wi-Fi, didn't have a bag. I glanced out the window after he walked off. No car, just puddles and moonlight on the gravel. That's when I realized. No shoes. He was barefoot. It's not unusual for people to act strange, especially that late, especially out here. So I logged the cash, wrote L. Carmine on the card, and tried not to think about it. Until 3:17 a.m. That's when I heard it. A dragging sound. Soft, long, like something heavy sliding across carpet. It came from the hallway outside room 2B, then stopped. I checked the monitor. Black and white static flickered for a moment, then settled. Room 2B's door was closed. No movement. I stared at that screen for longer than I care to admit. Around 4 a.m., a knock came at the lobby window. Loud. Too loud. I jumped. It was one of the truckers, room 7. Big guy, usually talkative. But not that night. He looked shaken. Said he was going out to get coffee, but didn't want to walk alone. Said he'd seen someone standing near the vending machine. Just standing. Didn't speak. Didn't blink. No shoes. I walked with him to his truck. The night felt colder than it should have. Even with my coat zipped up, I felt that air, thick, unmoving, like something was holding its breath. After my shift, I crashed in the back room behind the office. Old supply closet turned nap zone. Fluorescent light always flickering even when it was off. I dreamt about footsteps, bare ones, walking across wet pavement over and over, in the same direction but going nowhere. At 10:45 a.m., housekeeping called, said room 2B was empty, untouched, no signs of use. The bed wasn't slept in, bathroom clean, no towels used, trash can empty, but the key was back, hanging neatly on the board, like no one had ever taken it. I checked the logbook. No checkout, no refund. The man hadn't spoken when he arrived, hadn't left a number, and now, apparently, hadn't stayed. The manager told me to forget it. Probably just someone passing through, left early. But I couldn't shake it. Who walks away barefoot, on gravel, in the rain? And why? Why did he pay an exact change with no hesitation? I went back to the logbook. The name, L. Carmine. No first name, no contact info. Under vehicle, it said, doesn't drive. The handwriting was neat, tight, elegant cursive, like something from another decade. I flipped through old pages, checked the logs from last month. Nothing. No Carmine. At least not recently. But then, something else caught my eye. A check-in sheet from last year. Same name, same handwriting, same room. 2B. That night, I didn't assign 2B, left it empty, or so I thought. At 3:17 a.m., same time, like clockwork, that dragging sound again, but softer this time, more distant, like it was coming from under the floorboards. I stepped into the hallway. No lights were out, no one in sight, but the air, it felt different, thicker, still, as if something was holding time itself in place. I pressed my hand to the door of room 2B. It was warm. Then, a click. Not from my hand, from inside. The lock had just turned on its own. There's something I haven't told anyone. A few weeks later, I saw a woman check in, middle-aged, tired eyes, asked for a quiet room. She hesitated, looked at the board, and said, "Actually, could I get 2B?" I told her it wasn't available. She nodded, didn't argue. Before she walked away, she said something I still can't explain. He used to stay there when he was alive, always asked for 2B. I didn't ask who he was. Didn't want to know. I still work here, still do the night shift, still watch the key hook where 2B hangs. No one takes it now. Even when we're fully booked, I skip it, tell them it's under repair. But sometimes, around 3:17 a.m., I hear that dragging sound again, and when I check the hallway cam, if it's working, I sometimes catch a flicker. Just a second, a figure, barefoot, turning into the room, door closing behind him. Then nothing. The feed resets, the sound cuts out, and I sit there, watching the empty hallway, listening to the vending machine hum, wondering, if I go down there and knock, will he open the door, or will it already be unlocked?
Welcome everyone to Nightmare Echoes. Before we start, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment. Tell us where you're from, then what time you're watching this. That way, YouTube will keep showing you stories just like this one. Now, let's begin.
We never had phones in the rooms. That's the first thing you need to understand. The rooms were cheap, maybe $70 a night. No TVs, no landlines, no fancy amenities, just a bed, a lamp, a bathroom, and silence. But that night, I got a call from room 8. It was sometime after 2 a.m. I remember because I had just finished restocking the mini fridge in the lobby. The night was still. No cars outside, no guests wandering, just me and the hum of the vending machine. Then the office phone rang, just once. I looked at the caller ID, more out of habit than anything. It shouldn't have shown anything. The motel system was analog, no external calls could come in, but the screen read, Room 8. I actually laughed, a short, confused laugh. I double-checked the key rack. Room 8's key was still hanging. No one had checked in that night. Still, I picked up. "Front desk," I said. Nothing. I stayed on the line. In the background, I heard breathing, slow, ragged, like someone who had just been crying or running. Then, a sound like fabric shifting, like someone turning in bed. I said, "Hello? This is the office. Can I help you?" Still nothing. No voice. No hang-up, just breathing. I stayed there listening for nearly a full minute. Then the line clicked. Dead. I checked the reservation log again. No one had checked into room 8 for 3 days. Housekeeping hadn't even prepped it yet. The last guest had broken the sink handle, and maintenance was supposed to fix it the next morning. Still, I grabbed the spare key, walked out under the pale yellow porch lights, down the side walkway. Room 8 is the last one on the south end, past the laundry closet. As I got closer, I felt it. That heaviness in the air. You know how the world feels right before a storm? Still, but tense? Like something is waiting? That. The door was locked. I knocked anyway. No answer. I unlocked it, pushed it open slowly. The light inside was off. I stood in the doorway for a few seconds before stepping in. The room was cold, colder than the hallway, colder than the outside night air, and I swear to you, the bed looked used, not slept in, but sat on. The blanket was wrinkled near the edge, like someone had just stood up. I reached for the light switch, flipped it. Nothing. The bulb was dead. That's when I saw it. The phone, on the nightstand, plugged in, old, beige, rotary. just like the ones the motel removed years ago. I hadn't seen one of those in any of the rooms since my first month working there. We got rid of them after one shorted and nearly caused a fire. And yet, there it was, perfectly placed, no dust, plugged into the wall jack that should have been sealed. I walked over, lifted the receiver. There was no dial tone, just silence. Not dead silence, but a soft static, like a whisper that never quite becomes words. I left the room, locked the door, hung the key back on the board, didn't mention it to the morning staff. I told myself I imagined it, that the phone was left over, that the call came from somewhere else, but that night stayed with me. 3 weeks later, during a double shift, I got a visit, an older woman, thin, weathered. The kind of guest you can tell isn't here for a vacation. She asked for room 8. I froze, said it wasn't available. She didn't argue, just nodded as if she expected it. Before she left, she asked quietly, "Did you get his call?" I looked at her. She didn't blink, didn't smile. I said, "I don't know what you mean." She placed a folded paper on the counter, then walked out into the night. I opened the paper. It was yellowed, soft at the folds. There was only one sentence, written in faint ink. "He still dials when he's scared." No name, no explanation, just that. Since then, the office phone rings sometimes, never more than once, always between 2 and 3 a.m. The caller ID says room 8 every single time. I unplugged the jack in that room, even had the maintenance guy seal the line with silicone. Still rings. Once I answered. This time there was a voice, but not words, just humming, like a lullaby from another room, low, broken, familiar. I don't answer anymore. The phone in room 8 is gone now, at least physically. But sometimes I hear it when I walk past the south hallway at night. A soft ring, like it's buried just beneath the drywall. Sometimes I stand there and listen, just to see if I can catch something in the silence, a name, a reason. But all I ever hear is breathing. We don't usually get walk-ins after midnight, and when we do, they don't usually come back. But this man, he checked in twice. Same name, same face, same room. And to this day, I still can't tell you which version of him stayed the night. It was a Tuesday, I think, the kind of weekday that just blurs into the rest. Rain had come in around 10 p.m., light but steady. The kind of rain that keeps bugs away but makes the neon sign flicker. I was alone at the front desk, like always. One guest was already in, room 6, a traveling salesman with a cheap suit and a stack of takeout napkins for a pillow. At 11:47 p.m., a man walked in, clean-shaven, mid-40s maybe, dark coat, pressed slacks, leather shoes. He looked like someone coming back from a funeral, or maybe heading to one. He smiled, polite, calm, said he'd been driving all day, didn't want anything fancy, just a place to rest. I handed him the sign-in card and the pen. He wrote his name, David Lang. The letters were neat, measured, like someone who filled out paperwork often. He asked for room 4. I gave him the key. He thanked me, nodded once, and walked off. I heard the door to room 4 open and close. Nothing strange, just another tired man passing through. Until he came back, 28 minutes later. I heard the door chime again. Same man, same coat, same tired eyes. He looked confused, like someone waking up in the wrong house. I said, "Everything okay, Mr. Lang?" He blinked, stared at me for a second longer than felt normal, then said, "I think I left something behind." He asked if there were any other rooms open. I was still trying to figure out what was happening, so I just nodded, gave him room 5. He took the key, smiled again, almost identical to before, and walked off. I sat there, wondering if I was too tired, if maybe I'd seen someone similar and my brain filled in the rest. But then I looked down at the logbook. 2 entries. Same name, same handwriting, same pen. David Lang. David Lang. Room 4, room 5. I stepped outside. Rain still falling, steady but soft. Both rooms, 4 and 5, lights were on. I listened. No sound, no TV, no movement, just rain. The next morning, I checked both rooms. Room 4 was empty, sheets untouched, bathroom dry, air still cold. The key was gone. Room 5 looked slept in, bed unmade, towel damp on the sink, but no personal belongings, no toothbrush, no wallet, no trace. The key was left on the pillow. I brought it up with my manager. She shrugged. "Maybe the first one was a mistake," she said. "People reuse names. Maybe he used a fake one." But it wasn't the name that bothered me. It was the face. I remembered his face, the shape of his smile, the rhythm of his walk, even the way he signed his name, like muscle memory, exactly the same, both times. A week passed, nothing strange, until I got mail, addressed to the front desk, no return address. Inside was a folded piece of paper, no envelope, just one sentence, typed. He was never supposed to split. No signature, no explanation, just that. I showed it to the day clerk. She thought it was a prank. Said maybe someone was playing games. But I felt it. That sentence didn't come from someone trying to scare me. It came from someone warning me. 2 nights later, room 5's light was on, even though no one had checked in. I checked the system, empty, key still hanging. I walked to the door, heard the hum of the old air conditioner through the wall, the rattle of the vending machine 2 doors down, but also a voice, low, muffled, someone talking, not loud, not frantic, just steady, like a man having a conversation, but only one voice. I knocked. The talking stopped. I opened the door. Room was empty, lights off, air still, curtains drawn. On the table was the logbook, one of the backup ones we keep in the drawer, opened to a blank page, except for one line in the center. I didn't mean to check in twice. I closed the door, locked it, went back to the desk. The key was still on the hook. No one had moved it. I checked the camera feed. The hallway was empty. Timestamp, 3:22 a.m. I haven't seen him since. But every few weeks, I find a signature. Just there, in a logbook, on a receipt. Once, even on a sticky note I had left blank. Same name, same handwriting. David Lang. I don't know what happened that night. Maybe it was a glitch in the motel, in him, in time. Or maybe he just didn't want to leave. Maybe some part of him checked in and never checked out, and the rest just keeps trying to catch up. Some places were never meant to be remembered, but they don't let go of you just because you leave. I've tried to forget what happened at that motel. I've tried to explain it to myself, but every time I close my eyes, I still hear the breathing, the dragging, the ring that never ends. If you've ever stayed somewhere that didn't feel empty, you know what I mean. And if not, maybe you just haven't stayed long enough. Subscribe if you want more whispered stories from the edge of memory. We post new videos every week. Real voices, real experiences. Things that stay quiet until night falls. Tell me, which story stayed with you? Leave a comment below. I'll be watching.